Do you notice that there's a difference at all in the like behaviors users take, or the patterns in how long they spend on a game when there's money involved, when there's funds
Yeah, I
moving
think
around?
on a higher level they play for a lot longer, like significantly longer, to the point where when you show the results to other game developers or game industry people, they're like, "Whoa, that's quite crazy that they play for that much longer." Because like normally in a hyper casual game, people only play for like 7 days, but now they play for like months, you know. But
That's the average
it,
user would churn after seven
right,
days.
yeah, on a hyper casual normally, because you need to do so many ads for it to be profitable, and they're so basic and simple that they just get boring. But adding Bitcoin obviously changes that. But I'm not 100% sure whether to say that it increases the amount of people that are playing it, or not increases the amount of people play it, or if the audience just changes to a different audience that is just more interested in earning money, so they naturally play longer. So it might
Mm,
like actually reduce the like. So if say you had a hyper casual game with the normal retention metrics, and that audience, if you add Bitcoin in and don't change the audience, it might actually make it worse because they might not like Bitcoin, or they might think it's a scam, or they don't want to just earn money in a game; they just want to have fun. So,
right.
but then the audience could be just changing to one that does want Bitcoin, does want all those things, and that's why the numbers are higher. So it might be, it's probably a mixture of both.
Yeah. Now you mentioned a little while ago that the that you guys aren't trying to compete on giving away the most money. That's kind of like your sanity check to make sure people are still enjoying the game. Do you think there's a sweet spot for the game rewards? Like, is there a right number for how much you should be giving away? Does that change over time?
It probably changes depending on the game. As there is definitely a sweet spot because you don't want to give it away. Like there's definitely like too much money to give away. You can't just because adding the, like if you get the retention levels bigger because you've added Bitcoin in, that's only going to give you a certain amount of money extra per user because they're playing for a bit longer. So you don't want to do more than that because then what's the point of adding the Bitcoin in if you're giving away more than the benefit of adding this Bitcoin rewards to your game? So there's definitely like a ceiling that you can go to where it's like, what's the point of adding it if you go past that ceiling? You might as well just have to leave the game as it is.
So the ceiling is based on the amount of Bitcoin given away versus the revenue that you could generate from that
Yeah,
user. Is
like
that
if you had a baseline of revenue and then you add Bitcoin and it gives you more revenue
yeah?
because people want the rewards and they stay for longer and they watch more ads and they buy more stuff, then like that difference, like you need to make sure like that's less than the Bitcoin you're giving away. Otherwise, it's kind of doesn't
It's a
make.
cost.
Yeah, I mean, it might work in the short term because not many people do Bitcoin rewards in games. So it will give you more organic traffic just being one of the people that does it. So yeah, there's a lot of variables to it. I think there's definitely a sweet point spot, and it depends on the game, and it depends how you want to set up a prize draw or a tournament. Some games might just do the occasional weekend tournament, and they don't give away Bitcoin for the rest of the week, and everyone's just like practicing. You know, that might be enough for some games for people to re-engage. It might not have to be paying them to play all week long, like
Yeah,
and just grinding, watching ads. I tend to think it's better to just have a light touch with it and don't give too much away, don't do too many tournaments, and just have it a bit more casual than like how much you can try and give away as much as you can. But the sweet spot is somewhere different on every game.
yeah. Now, outside of gaming, is there does that same kind of ceiling apply that like there's a limit on how much money you can give away if the application's different? Like let's say I know there's a bunch of shopping apps that let you earn Bitcoin cashback rewards.
Mhm.
Is there a limit there? Is there, do you think that in any of these apps there's going to be a limit on what is too much or how
Yeah,
much you could possibly earn before, like I
yeah. So
imagine it also starts to turn into, it could, you can easily see how it could slide into a job, right? And how it could stop becoming like you stop using the app for what it's meant for, and you start doing it because it's giving you money at a certain point. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, well, there's different products out there that do these things. So there's Stackwork. I don't know if you're aware of Stackwork.
Yeah.
But they give away, they do tasks and they pay you. So that's just work. That is literally work. So that's like perfect because you're literally doing work and earning sats doing these micro tasks. Then there's products. I built a website last year which was called Satsy, where you can earn money doing surveys. So you basically would answer questions about what you thought about new branding for a product, etc., and you would get paid for that. So that's okay, but that can be gamed, and people like do the surveys more than once if they find a higher paying one. It's just a bit of a nightmare. And then so the ceiling there is like how much money the survey company gives you, how much profit you want to make on that. And then there's the cashback type apps that you spoke about where they give you cash back. And traditionally, the cashback companies, those have existed since forever, and they all ended up as a race to the bottom, like who could give away the most, who could return the most rewards to their customers. And in the end, they just like had no margin on like the amount of cashback they gave away. They weren't like making money on that. They were having to make money in different ways, where they were offering like special like subscriptions to get special offers. Like you would pay £100 a year, and that's how they made their money with these special things. It wasn't on the actual the cashback margin. So like they do all race to the bottom, giving away. Like in the end, you just have to probably add cashback to your product and as a feature for a user that you don't make any profit on.